Well, hi. It appears that I am now live, and I'm excited to say that it is an honor to be involved with the Wellness Universe amazing book, Complete Guide to Self-Care, which is highly overlooked. I know I have done that many times myself, and this is the book. It's beautiful. See it back there as well. It's lovely. I'm going to share my chapter with you, and I, you know, I'm honored to do this and just sit back and let me do some reading for you here. This is one of my favorites. It's the 7-second mind shift. Retrain your brain for calm on demand. Here's my story. This is the first time I'm publicly coming out of the closet. I have a secret to share with you. Well, two secrets. I am a convicted felon, and poker saved my life. The crossroads of poker and transformation surfaced in 1996. Without discovering the game, today I would be dead from stress. Or worse yet, suicide. When life deals crappy cards, it sucks. But you always have choices. You can play full out and take calculated risk, bemoan your fate, and hold on even when you know you have a losing hand. Or fold, and fold often. I'm delighted to see Anna's here and Deborah. Wonderful. It's working. Hello, back to you. While competing in a poker tournament, when I made a stupid call, you've made those, I'm out, and become tilted, that place of emotional imbalance, there is no way I can say, please excuse me. Give me half an hour while I recompose, meditate, and calm down. Traditional meditation never worked for me at the poker table. There is no time. The game happens fast and there is a need for speed. Time is a commodity that is in short supply while in the game. Whether or not you've ever played a hand of poker, imagine for a moment that you're in a tournament. You've just made an ultra stupid mistake, an epic blunder. You're sitting there with cards in your hand, beating yourself up about that idiot move. Effectively, you're anchoring your mistake and convincing yourself that you are a failure and unworthy. Do you ever find yourself uttering self-defeating words such as, "What an idiot I am. Why do I keep doing such stupid stuff? When will I ever stop being a fool?" What if you realize that the hand you're holding is the only reality that exists? Your only choice in life is how you play the cards you are dealt. The past is gone. Those cards were folded. Future cards are not yet here. You realize the future never comes. There is only now. This realization came to me in the middle of a hand. In an instant, through the simple process of shifting my awareness into the moment, I discovered the calm and peace of mindfulness, which saved my life. As I took a long, deep breath, my hyperactive, self-loathing inner voice became calm, quiet. Calm wrapped her arms around me and I was at peace. Could calm be as simple as a single breath? Ask and you shall receive. Poker was a diversion from my never-ending 17-hour days as the real estate management broker for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs in 5 counties in Florida. I loved my life. and hated what I did. Can you imagine the feeling of overwhelm that comes with taking custody of nearly 200 properties in a single day? I loved helping people get their first ever home and despised it came at the cost of other people losing their homes. I hated being the one evicting families living in properties the VA had acquired because of the foreclosure process. By the time I became the guardian of the properties, all the paperwork and court filings were complete. However, 2 in 10 homes were still occupied. One eviction was the decisive point that changed my life. Thinking back, I remember that soul-wrenching day as if it were yesterday. As I write this, my heart still aches. Storms rumbled loudly in the distance. As I drove to the neighborhood, I felt the gloomy clouds following me. With each turn, it seemed they turned in unison. What a dreadful way to start a summer's day on this beautiful Gulf Coast of Florida. My heart raced. The eviction was scheduled around 9 a.m. And the day before, I reminded the crew, let's be sure to get it done before the neighbors, after the neighbors are gone to work, but before the kids on the block get home from school. My heart raced and breathing quickened as I turned the corner and saw the homeowner back out of the garage. I stopped the car half a block away and watched the garage door lower and wondered, am I at the wrong house? There was a bicycle lying by the driveway. The yard had just been mowed. A few minutes after she drove away, the deputy sheriff arrived and I asked him, has all the paperwork been served? Is this the right house? He nodded yes and said, right place. It's on the front door. All the servings are posted there. It started over 9 months ago. It takes longer than required, and today we must take action. He nodded yes and said, right place. Walking up to the front door, I felt sick. The curtains were open, and the inside looked like the family next door everybody wants. As a government agent trained as a locksmith, picking locks was usually a snap. Easy. This time, my hands shook. The deputy stood over me as I struggled with the front door lock. Finally, the deputy said, just drill it. I have to go. Darkness saturated my soul as I drilled and thought, I can't do this anymore. Inside, I discovered nothing was packed. Absolutely nothing. All the closets were full of clothes and everything was tidy inside. Based on the clothes and the possessions in the bedrooms, it looked like 2 kids, maybe 10 and 12, and Mom. How could she ignore the notices, I wondered. Everything had to be moved to the curb. Furniture, clothes, toys, food, everything. I fell into the black hole of self-blame as I directed a 6-man crew to be careful with everything but hurry it up. That was part of my job. That was what the VA told me to do. That day earned a pure love-hate relationship into not no more. I was in despair. Standing there at the curb, looking at the evicted family's household of belongings, the rain came pounding down. Thunder rolled. Lightning flashed. Pulling money out of my pocket, I sent the crew to get tarps. Tears ran down my face and I shouted into the storm, how do I get out of this? I want out now. When you ask and declare, you will receive. In a ridiculously short time after I made the request, 2 U.S. Marshals appeared at my real estate office with a subpoena in hand and said, Donna Blevins, you have been served. I was dismayed to learn that an agent had made a mistake on a contract. As a broker of record, I was charged with a felony. The buck stopped with me. Overwhelmed with red tape and the workload of taking custody of and managing properties, I was blinded by the chaos. The paperwork as a government real estate management broker was grueling. I had failed to catch the mistake. A single error was the reason for the charges, and with seemingly no other choice, I accepted the blame. Rather than spending tens of thousands on lawyers, dragging my family into the mire and crushing my own spirit, I pled to a white-collar felony, closed the office, paid a fine, and was on probation for a year. Sounds simple, right? I had no idea that the decision of pleading to a felony had the power to taint my life and cloud my self-worth, undermine my self-esteem, and demolish my self-confidence for the rest of my life. Guilt, judgment, blame, and shame prevailed. At the moment I'm writing this chapter and reading it here and now, I take back my power. As I write, I am canceling the emotional effect of being a convicted felon. Shame evaporates as I declare, I love who I am. I love who I have become. I am me because of what I have experienced and the lessons that I have learned. I am of service to others. Poker backstory. First, let me be clear. Poker is a great metaphor for life, and I find comfort in the similarities. In both poker and life, we continually make a series of choices, one decision after another. We strive to minimize our errors, armed only with incomplete information, and to achieve desired results. As I learn poker, I experience moments of joy and reemergence of confidence during the extended negotiation of the felony plea and year-long probation. It's like, okay, I pled guilty. Now let's get on with it. For God's sake, just deal another hand. Looking back, I still shake my head in wonder. My life was transforming, evolving. One life was ending as another one began. I had no idea at that time the significance of the overlap. After 5 years trying to survive during stress-filled days as the management broker, I stumbled onto poker, a simple card game played by people. In the process, I realized that poker is actually a people game played with cards, a welcome distraction during one of the pivotal times of my life. In my late 40s, and the first time I picked up cards, I had no idea how to play or what constituted a winning hand. After complaining to my husband that there was little to read for beginning poker players, he said, maybe you writing about learning the game as a new player would be good for you and the reader. You're the fastest learner I've ever known. Just write about it. As a result, I became a poker journalist and have been since 1998, the year I pled to the felony. For me, poker became my framework to grow as a human being, to reclaim my self-worth. As I mastered the game, my world improved. I was stronger, more confident, even happier. Other people noticed and wanted to know how that happened. They wanted some of whatever it was I was on, and just like that, I became a poker coach focusing on improving people's lives. Over the last 2 decades, with the advent of the internet, a priceless collection of poker coaches has emerged. Most of them focus on strategy and left-brain, math-based statistical analysis. As the first poker mindset coach, I introduced the concept of the mind game in the early 2000s, and mental coaches evolved. To clarify, I'm both a left brain and a right brain coach. I balance pragmatics with my intuitive sense. Regardless of the industry, I use the concept of game theory during private sessions and on the one-to-many platforms. Coming from a religious background with strong worth ethics, I smuggle spirituality to the poker table and into sessions with all types of clients. When I say that, people chuckle and ask, what does that mean? Others call the process life balance. For me, it involves strengthening the mind, body, spirit connection without bringing in all the woo-woo stuff. When we focus on just our physicality, regardless of what we are playing, whether in sales, speaking, coaching, or cards, we rarely fire on all cylinders. We choke. Our mental gears lock up and we stall. Think about learning through the whole you. Make it a habit of exercising your mental muscles, taking care of your body first, and opening conversations with your inner wisdom. Rather than looking at your game as separate and distinct from the rest of you, see it as an extension of you. From the poker table to the boardroom, one of the biggest challenges I've discovered over the years is that people try to be like someone else. They try to mimic others rather than finding what I call your authentic game. Playing your game has nothing to do with the cards. It comes from a clear, uncluttered view of your true self. Am I suggesting you take up the game of poker? Well, that depends. For poker to be therapeutic, you must play with intention and mindfulness rather than reacting. Now, that sounds like life's best game plan, because it is. The whole basis of stress is rooted in reacting to life's challenges without pausing and coming to the moment where you consider your options before consciously acting. My intention over the years has become, I intend to make correct decisions and remain unattached to the outcome. As poker metaphors come into the mix, my intention has evolved to include a blessing. May the cards break in your direction and may the odds be on your side. Face it, you never have it all. You never have all the information. Every decision we make in life is based on the limited information we have at that point in time. Your biological supercomputer. Here's the fact. Your brain is a magnificent biological supercomputer that was naturally programmed to protect you, to react quickly, to make snap decisions. Immediate reaction is our natural, automatic, normal. The problem when we continue to be in that reactive state is that our brain does not know when a preconceived threat is not a saber-toothed tiger. We become stressed, and our body secretes cortisol, the hormone that triggers the protection insulation of fat around our vital organs. Thankfully, we can reprogram the underlying software within our subconscious mind as opposed to remaining reactive throughout our life. When a negative thought comes to mind, we have less than a second before it anchors and takes root. If that sounds fast, Google the speed of thought. You'll find that a given thought can be generated and acted on in as little as 1/20th of a second. Crap, that is fast. What we think, we create. Our body is the vehicle, our mind is the operator, the driver. Thoughts are fast. We think them, we react to them. Thoughts bounce around in our head like ping pong balls. We live in the middle of chaos and spend our life being reactive. We react in a split second and create more of the same. This morning, I awoke realizing that unrecognized thoughts are like a runaway freight train without an engineer, the train's driver. Inside our brain, thoughts create new highways. The brain can learn. With repetition, I discovered that we could literally rewire our own neural pathways. You can retrain your brain to pause and then shift to being aware before acting. Your strength, your mental muscles by developing emotional agility. In today's age, where technology has sucked us into our smartphones and down the computer's rabbit hole, we are creating stressors that damage our bodies and our mind. Over our life, we developed the habit of being unaware and became a slave to our emotions. We trained our brain to be even more reactive, to retrain, to remain unconsciously incompetent. We don't know what we don't realize we don't know. We can retrain our brain to access calm on demand, our place of blissful peace, by making the recognition process a habit. The habit of noticing a negative thought as it comes to mind gives you the power to shift your mindset before negativity anchors and takes root. In short, the following process is a mind-shifting method and is evidence-based technology. You can use it now, at this very moment. It only takes practice, just like exercising any muscle. Let's begin. Here's the tool. It's time to shift away from being unaware and unprepared in your quest to becoming unconsciously competent 1 minute at a time. Today, this lightning-fast method works for entrepreneurs, executives, healthcare teams, worker bees, and for you, wherever you choose, whatever you choose to do, and whomever you choose to be. Here's an overview of the 7-second mind shift, also known as the 7-11 shift. Inhale to the count of 7. Exhale slowly through softly pursed lips to the count of 11. Do the 7-11 process 3 times. Total time required 1 minute. Use belly breathing technique. Expected results is increasing relaxation and lowering stress. Exhaling through pursed lips is healthy because our lungs have millions of tiny sacs that behave like little balloons. When they deflate and stick together, they require extra pressure to reinflate. Just like a balloon you once used and put away in a drawer. If you feel you're unable to exhale to the count of 11, using the belly breathing technique is helpful. I've discovered that many people limit their oxygen intake and carbon dioxide outflow by only chest breathing, and belly breathing is a simple solution. Belly breathing, like many other things that are new to us, may require some practice. Belly breathing is healthy, simple to learn, and relaxing. To belly breathe, sit or lie flat in a comfortable position. Put one hand on your chest and the other on your belly just below your ribs. As you breathe in to the count of 7, let your belly push your hand out. Let your chest remain still and not move. Breathe out slowly through softly pursed lips to the count of 11. Notice the hand on your belly go in, and use that muscle to push all the air out. Allow your chest to remain still. Adding the 7 in and 11 out process helps cleanse the body. The purpose of the 7-second mind shift is, by counting the breaths in rhythm, 3 breaths fit nicely within 1 minute. While you're counting and noticing your breathing, you are unable to fret or worry. The more mental muscles and physical processes you bring into the method, the more you occupy your brain. Counting for 7 seconds begins to train the brain to recognize how long 7 seconds is. Progress confirmation. Now that you have experienced this MindShift exercise, it's time to say the following aloud. Now that I have learned how to expand the anchor time when a negative thought comes to mind from 1/20th of a second to 7 seconds, I am becoming emotionally and mentally agile. Use this tool. You can create a 7-second window using this tool. You can create a 7-second window of opportunity where you have ample time to choose or decide what you choose to think. And I'll go ahead and read my biography. It's always a little odd reading your own biography, but I'm going to do it. Zig Ziglar said, Donna Blevins is someone we can all look up to, both professionally and physically. Donna Blevins is a 6-foot 5-inch powerhouse married to a 5-foot 3-inch Vietnam combat veteran, a man who she looks up to. And I'm going to let you pick the rest of that up from the book, because I want you to know that this has 25 tools that are amazing every time. And frankly, when I thought about being part of a co-author of a book that had 25 authors, there was that part of me that said, oh, 25 people. But you know what? I've discovered every single chapter is not just worth the read, it's worth using. That when I want a break, I pick it up and I just open it up and go to somebody else's chapter and read it. It's a wonderful process. So do me a favor and give me some love here in relationship to that. I'm looking up here at the messages. Good to see everybody here. What I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to share this on your own timeline. And grab the Kindle or grab the print book. And I got both myself. I have the Kindle because I want to be able to look at it on the fly. So in the comments that I put at the beginning, you'll have the link to the book on Amazon and a link to my page on the Wellness Universe. And I'll just sign off by saying I'm Donna Blevins, the big girl of poker at 6'5", and I want you to know that I love you just the way you are, because I love me just the way I am. See you soon.